Hi guys, and welcome back to another Premier League prediction video. Last time out, we did something we've never done before. We got a perfect thumbnail. Chelsea drew 1-1 with Man United. Newcastle beat Spurs 2-1, and I called it. They were my two correct scores, both on the thumbnail. Very happy with that. It's good to finally have done that, and let's hope we can start getting some more scores correct this week. Before we get into it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more Premier League content. Let's get into my predictions. We start off with Leicester up against Man City. And Leicester haven't been too bad recently. Only one loss in their last 5 matches, 2 wins in a row, and they beat Wolves 4-0 at the weekend, so a brilliant result for them, and it helped them to climb out of the relegation zone. Man City bounced back from that defeat against Liverpool with a 3-1 victory over Brighton, and I see the same here. Man City to win 3-1. Bournemouth take on Spurs next, and since I said that Bournemouth would win a game, they went and lost, ending a 6-game unbeaten run, and then they lost again, so 2 losses in a row for them. But Spurs have also lost 2 in a row against Man United and Newcastle. How do I see this one going? Spurs obviously have more quality, but they're in a bit of a poor patch. But I think Spurs will just nick it, even though I haven't been too impressed with them. So Spurs to win it 1-0. Brentford up against Wolves here. And both these teams lost 4-0 last weekend. Brentford lost 4-0 against Villa, but a lot of Brentford's points come at home. They've only lost 1 of their 6 home games this season, so Brentford will be better here. Wolves, they've lost 5 out of their last 6. A 4-0 loss to Leicester at the weekend. Wolves are in trouble. I'm going to go Brentford to win 2-1. Brighton take on Chelsea next. Now Brighton, how are they getting on without Graham Potter? Well, 5 games in, De Zerbi hasn't picked up a win yet. 2 draws and 3 losses. They did get that brilliant 3-3 draw against Liverpool at Anfield on his debut, and I thought that they were going to continue from where they left off with Potter. But it hasn't been the case. They've been struggling. A draw with Nottingham Forest being another pretty poor result. And then 3 losses as well. The last one was 3-1 against Man City, which you can expect. But Brighton have definitely dropped off since Potter left. And how's Potter getting on at Chelsea? Well, they are still unbeaten under him. Drew their last game 1-1 against Man United in a game that they didn't really play too well in. But Potter, very smart, saw that there was an issue, changed it in game, brought Kovacic on, and from then Chelsea, improved, nullified Man United quite a lot. So Potter is a smart manager. I see Chelsea being very good defensively under him, and even if they haven't got the best attack, they will manage to just score goals and get results. So Chelsea to win 1-0. Palace up against Southampton next. Now Palace did lose their last game 3-0 away against Everton. Not a great result, but their last 2 home matches, both 2-1 victories. Southampton unbeaten in 3 and got a brilliant point at home against Arsenal. Only the second team this season to get a point against Arsenal, and the first team to draw with them. So Southampton did something that not many teams have done, which is take points from Arsenal. However, there's something about Palace at home that I really like. They have lost 2 of their 6, but I believe they've been against top opposition. I think they are a good side at home, and I fancy them to do the same again, making it 3 in a row. Palace to win 2-1. Newcastle take on Villa now, and this is a hard one to predict. Newcastle are unbeaten in 7. They haven't lost at home so far this season, and they've still only lost 1 game all season. Very, very impressive form, and they managed to get a 2-1 victory away at Spurs on the weekend. Brilliant result. I got that one bang on. Newcastle are flying, and they're flying so high that they're now in the Champions League spaces. Villa, they did only win 1 in 8, but then they sacked Gerrard after a terrible 3-0 loss against Fulham, and they bounced back straight away with a really good 4-0 win over Brentford. Since then, Unai Emery has been announced as the manager. I don't really know how this one's going to go, but for some reason I don't see Villa losing, but I also don't see Newcastle losing. So I've got to go down the middle, 1-1. Fulham up against Everton now. Fulham are unbeaten in 3, winning 2 in a row, and their last 2 games they've scored 3 goals in each to win them. So Fulham are not bad at scoring goals. They've also only lost 1 game at home so far out of their 6, so pretty strong at Craven Cottage. Everton lost 3 in a row, but then at home got a 3-0 victory over Crystal Palace. I think with Everton it's going to be another case of very good at home, or much better at home than they are away. I still think they'll pick up points away and not concede too many like they were last season. Fulham, I really like the look of, but for some reason I see this one down the middle again, so 1-1. Liverpool take on Leeds next, and Liverpool have let it slip. Their last 3 games have ended 1-0, and after that 1-0 victory over Man City, a lot of Liverpool fans thought that they were back, they were going to go cruising back towards the top of the table. So then they picked up a 1-0 victory over West Ham as well to carry on, but then lost 1-0 against bottom of the table Forest in a very poor game. I mean, Liverpool should have scored quite a few goals. Van Dijk probably could have had a hat-trick, but it just, nothing really went for them. They just had one of those days where, you know, they could probably still be playing till today and they wouldn't have scored in it. Brilliant points for Forest, but Liverpool let it slip because Man City went and won the game, and them going and beating City has now equalled itself out since then. You know, they haven't gained any points on them from that win in the end. So Liverpool, I'm sure, will be heading for the top 4 this season, but I don't see them being near the top of the league, and I think a lot of Liverpool fans are starting to accept that now. They are in a bit of a transitional period, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. One thing I do think I know is that Liverpool in the second half of the season will pick up a lot more points than they currently are. I think, you know, having the World Cup in the middle of the season could probably be quite good for Liverpool. Salah not being there, things like that they might, you know, just be able to pick up a lot of points. But on to Leeds. Is this Jesse March's last game? Probably. They haven't managed to win since that 3-0 over Chelsea. Really, really struggling, not picking up many points. I think Liverpool will win this one quite comfortably. Leeds lost 3-2 in their last one against Fulham. I think Liverpool will keep a clean sheet and win it 2-0. Arsenal against Forest now. And could Forest pull off another surprise? I'm not so sure. Now, Arsenal have been brilliant this season. 9 wins, a draw and a loss. Enough to have them top of the league. And I'm not surprised because that's a very, very strong record. They did draw 1-1 against Southampton last weekend. But, again, they're still doing very, very well. And I'm sure that's not going to affect them too much, especially when a game like this follows up. It's been pretty nice to Arsenal because Nottingham Forest hadn't won in 8, but then went and beat Liverpool 1-0 in a historic victory. I don't think any fan in the world saw that coming, not even the most optimistic Forest fan. Where does that shape Forest up now? Well, if they had a game that looked pretty even, or maybe there were slight underdogs in, you might fancy them. But playing against this Arsenal side doesn't seem very easy, and I think Arsenal will win this one quite comfortably, 2-0. And finally, Man United up against West Ham. Man United, believe it or not, are in a very good position. And you might look at the table and think, what are you on about? They're not in the top 4. But they're unbeaten in 4. But if you look at the games they've played, they've managed to draw with Chelsea and then beat Liverpool, Arsenal and Spurs. The only game against the big 6, other 5, that they've lost was against Man City. 3 wins, a draw and a loss against the other big 5 is a brilliant record. And their upcoming fixtures to take them to the halfway point are very, very kind. So if they can continue to pick up wins, they're going to fly up the table. Now, West Ham have won 3 out of their last 5, winning the last one 2-0 against Bournemouth. But I just think Man United at Old Trafford in pretty decent form. You know, they've only lost to Man City in their last 8 or 9 games. I think Man United will take this one 2-1. So, those are my predictions for these Premier League fixtures. Let me know down in the comments what your predictions are. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more Premier League content.